Hey everybody, welcome back to another Inner Sleuths live stream. Today we got quite a bit to talk about. I pushed back going over these clarifications on the upcoming RPG system. They did put this out. I was going to do it, but some stuff came up when it came out. It came out 3 days ago. It's a little bit of clarifications on certain things that I think people were kind of confused about in regards to their RPG system post, which honestly, that post was big. That post was really, really big. It was talking a lot about the new combat changes and other things of that nature. It was really, really big announcement. So if you guys missed that, make sure you go back and watch the previous episode of PaxCast, because we're just going to go over the upcoming RPG system clarifications right now. We're not going to actually go over the entirety of the last post. So if you want to hear about all the combat changes and the new way that weapons are going to work and your skills and things that's not covered in this clarifications page, then make sure you go and check the previous post that I did. But we do have quite a bit to talk about today. We're going to get some insight into the crafting changes, which I know is a really big thing for a lot of people. It's going to fundamentally change the way that the game is played. I'm still kind of intrigued by the fact that, so a lot of these systems now, they've been in the works for 6 months, we didn't really know that they were doing a complete overhaul. I think this is why some bugs and things were left the way they were, because they knew, well, we're doing away with that entire system anyways. If we would have known that, it would have shed a lot of light. I think it would have been some pretty good information to know that, hey, we're actually completely gutting all of these different systems. Yeah, that would have been really nice to know much earlier on, because then we're doing F8 reports for things that aren't even relevant anymore. But I digress. We have a lot to go over today. We're going to be talking about the crafting changes. We're going to go over the clarifications. But before we get into all of that, guys, I want to do a huge shout out to all of my channel members. Thank you guys for the continued support. As always, I like to start off all my streams by thanking you guys, because you are the reason why I'm able to do these streams, and I like to do these live. So if you guys are new here, don't be shy, hop in chat. My favorite thing to do is to chat with you guys. That's the reason I do these live. And we have a special giveaway during the stream today. We're going to be giving away a key. It's going to be a Steam key, so have your Steam open. We're going to be doing a giveaway for a free copy of VRising. And if you don't know how to do that, you go to Steam, you go to the top left corner, you click on like game or something, you get a drop down, activate based on code, and you can paste the code in there, but the code will be dropped at a non-disclosed time during the stream, so make sure you guys are paying attention, you got your ears open, and partake in some conversation. But once that key drops, it will be first come, first serve, so whoever grabs it, snags it, and goes and punches it in, it's yours. You got a free copy of VRising. If you already have VRising, it won't let you redeem it because it'll say you already have this on your account, so if you're trying to get a second account for it for whatever reason, you'd have to do it on one that doesn't have it. Otherwise, you can try and tell your friends about it. They can come on the stream to be able to activate the key as well. But I'm going to be giving away one free copy of VRising. It'll be, again, a Steam key. Let's see, who do we got in chat so far? We got Maven, Templar, Blimpy. We got Athena, Richard, Jack, Amber, Watson, Pickle, Salty Veteran. Great to see you guys. Thanks for stopping by the stream today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. This is gonna be pretty good stream. I'm looking forward to it. Black Wolf, how's it going, man? Welcome into the stream. We got Mop Who Smells. Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Always great to see everybody. So a little bit about these streams, guys. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys think about this. I want to know how you guys feel about these things. I want to hear it all. As long as it's in good faith, that's why I do these live. So hop in chat. I do my best to read everyone's messages. If you absolutely want something read, make sure you do it in a super chat. I do my best to get to channel members' messages all the time, but I really do my best to try and get to every single message. But sometimes there's only one of me, so the chat will be flying by and I won't be able to keep up with it. I got Tangia paused here while I do my intro, but yeah, if you guys want to get in on Tangia dungeons and things like that, they're a fun little way to keep you busy while we chat about different things. You can earn free little meme tokens and stuff over on Tangia. You just type !Tangia in chat right now and you'll get a link over there. Waylo, how's it going? Welcome into the stream, buddy. Got a bunch of people still filing in, so we're gonna continue with our intro before we get into the juicy bits. That brings us to the point where I plug my clan and community. Guys, if you're looking for a great community, you want to hang out and play all kinds of games, we got a lot of stuff spinning up for Star Citizen. Star Citizen is going faster than ever. It's more playable than it's ever been. It is getting into a really good spot. So if you guys are interested in Star Citizen or any other game, we still have a VRising server up. I still got to take out Dracula. We got a lot of stuff going on. We have servers for different things. If you guys want to play some games with the community, come and join the Cheeky Buggers United. Type !Discord in chat now. Everyone's welcome to join the CBU Discord. It's a public Discord, but it is for our community. We play all kinds of games there. Everyone's welcome to join. If you want to take that to the next level and become an actual verified CBU member, all you have to do is type !website and you will get a link over to www.cheekybugger.net, where you can fill out your very own application to join either CBU, to become a verified CBU member, and then once you're verified, you can join any clan, guild, private server, any of that stuff. You get instant access to all of it. We do it that way so that way we don't have conflict of interest with people who are in like allied clans or something, seeing things that are for Blood Brothers in particular, but it still allows people to then get membership and get vetted and verified. So that way, if they want to join a different guild or clan, or like, let's say you want to play Star Citizen with us, you can just hop in there and play Star Citizen with us without actually needing to join, like, for instance, the Order of the Blood Brothers. Because we, again, are first and foremost, we are a community. We play all kinds of games together. We have a ton of fun, but it's really filled with some of the best people I've ever met in my life, honestly. If you join CBU, you'll find a bunch of people willing to hang out with you and play all kinds of games. We're in different voice channels on there all the time, playing different games. Shoot a message, talk in any of the little chats that we have for different games. It's a big Discord. There's a lot of different voice channels and a lot of different text channels, but there's a lot going on over there. Make sure you guys check out our new wiki. I'm really proud of it. It's based on Bookstack, but it is self-hosted wiki site that works based on books and chapters and shelves and stuff. It's a really clean layout. I'm really quite proud of it. We're still working on transferring over everybody's backstories and the roster and stuff like that, but it's going to have a bunch of really good information over there, as well as mobilizations. I don't even know how that dungeon started. I have Tangia paused. That's so weird that it let that start. Well, I might as well unpause Tangia now since they're going through anyways. If you guys want to join those dungeons, they're free to join. You just have to have the Tangia page open. Whoever actually started the dungeon is the one who paid for the dungeon. Blimpy says it's been a while since I tried Star Citizen. Last time I blew myself up in the hangar after landing. Yeah, I mean, it's got a learning curve to it for sure, but it's actually getting to a really, really good state. I've been on the Wave 1 PTU for 4.2, the next patch coming out. They got radioactive animals, they got radiation, they got dynamic storms, new zones, giant Valakar sandworms before Dune even comes. It's crazy. I mean, the stuff that's coming out with this is just astonishing. It's been a lot of fun. But we're not here to talk about Star Citizen. We're here to talk about PAX Day. That is what PaxCast is all about. Guys, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. I do live streams whenever we have content or information about PAX Day. Normally we're doing roleplay streams and stuff, but it's slowed down quite a bit over on PAX. I mean, let's refresh here. We got 286 players right now, 289 24-hour peak. The numbers are way down on PAX Day. People are waiting for that patch to come out. We really are going to be going hard once that patch drops. We looked at a couple different zones. Anyone who's in Blood Brothers, we're going to be doing a Sanguine Council meeting leading up to the wipe. So make sure you guys are watching the appropriate channels over on the CBU Discord for that. We're going to be talking about where we're going to be going, our plans, all of that good stuff. We have the Fellowship of the Free Cities, guys. If you'd like to join the Fellowship of the Free Cities, you can come over to our Discord and chat with me, and we will get you set up with that. But basically what the Fellowship is, it's a RP initiative where a bunch of our allied clans join the Fellowship. Their groups get vetted and verified, and then people will know, and you get promoted from within, but then people will know that these groups have agreed to the charter, which is a set of roleplay rules based around common sense, most common sense, most common rules in roleplay, and such as, like, you know, don't implicate others in your RP stories and stuff like that unless they want to be. But if you guys want to partake in the Fellowship of the Free Cities, you get an advertisement post on the CBU Discord, which has like 425 members or something like that. You get a representative in the Free Council. It's a pretty cool setup in and out of character in order to help manage communities building together, communities having stories together, communities respecting each other, all within the RP scene, all within the Fellowship of the Free Cities. It's a really big initiative that we've been working on for a long time. But you guys, if you'd like to join that, come on over to the CBU Discord and shoot me a message, void_lock. I'm going to be opening up an application thing on the website for it, but right now we chat with you and we vet and verify that way for it. But we're going to be getting it all wrapped up here soon, and you'll find information for that over on the wiki under the PAX Day shelf, and then there's a section for Fellowship of the Free Cities. But that is all my announcements, I believe. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I told you all the links. I told you all the stuff. Click the stuff and let's get into this. So the first thing we got to talk about here, we're going to go through this a little quick because this is just clarifications on a lot of things, but we have some clarifications about upcoming RPG systems. So they start off, as always, by saying, hello, Paxians. Thanks to all of you who've been diving into the recent spotlight in the upcoming RPG system. We wanted to clarify some important aspects. I don't know, that could be us too. I mean, they do pop into the stream, so I don't know, maybe this is from us having our chats and stuff. Excuse, how's it going, man? Welcome in. And it's great to see you. Great to see everybody in chat. So our chats, they do make a difference, guys. And that's what the whole point of this is to give everybody a voice. We wanted to clarify some important aspects of the update based on your feedback and the info shared so far in the various Discord channels. So they're going to talk about here first is spirit versus stamina, because yeah, this was kind of a confusing thing for some people, but spirit and stamina are two different things as far as I know, but let's see what they have to say about it. Spirit is used exclusively for spells including those cast with armor, healing staves, and weapon special attacks. Okay, so your weapon special attacks, healing staves, and anything you gain from armor, any abilities, that's going to be using your spirit. It's your mana, essentially. It's your mana. It's how you interact and do stuff. That's interesting that your weapon special attacks use spirit and not stamina, though. They say stamina remains essential for physical actions like blocking, gathering, swimming, sprinting, jumping, and climbing. They don't mention attacking, though. Very intriguing. So do your regular attacks use nothing? And then your special attacks use spirit, but your blocking uses stamina. I could see how that's still going to be confusing for people. How's it going? Blimpy says, I wish there was a little ding noise or something when a dungeon is starting. Almost missed. It does play music. It plays a little sound effect in the back. You guys can hear that music, right? When it activates? Or is it only me that hears that music? No, I think that has to go out to you guys. Regular attacks don't use anything now. Yeah, I was thinking they were going to use stamina, though, based on what they were saying last time. But I guess they're keeping regular attacks not using anything, and your weapon special attacks are going to use spirit. The two resources work very differently. Stamina is a small pool but regenerates fast, and spirit is a large pool and slowly regenerates. Has slow regeneration. So yeah, your spirit's your mana, your stamina, it's your stamina. It's what you'd expect, right? Vivinette, welcome in. Great to see you. They said, wave, out shopping, but I came to hang out. Great to have you. Thanks for stopping by. Just the special will use resources. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gathering from that right there. Sa with the first out of 10 super chat towards our super chat goal. Bribe for spooky game here. Oh, you want me to play that? You want me to play that scary game that you linked? I still got to look into that more. Noonie, how's it going? Welcome in. Loop, great to see you. Nope, you didn't miss it, Loop. You're just on time. We're just now getting into the meats and potatoes of the clarifications. But no, it's great to see you, man. So yeah, we're just gonna be using our spirit for special attacks, and your regular attacks are not gonna use. They're gonna continue to not use anything. I don't know what those little things are next to your guys. Someone has number 1, number 2, number 3. I don't know what those little crowns are. That's a new feature here on YouTube. Is that chat activity or something like that? I'm not sure what that is. All right, let's see what else they say. Healing staves and viability. So healing staves are primarily support tools, but they include a weak projectile attack with left click. Okay, so your healing staves, is that going to use stamina or spirit to do the left click? Probably not. It's probably just a projectile, like a blast of energy that comes out. It's not going to use anything, just like your regular attacks, I'm going to assume. Soloing is possible, but leveling as a healer is best suited for group play. That makes sense. And they talked about how we're going to share XP and all that good stuff in the last post. So make sure, again, that you guys go and watch the last episode of PaxCast if you want to have a full, in-depth look at the combat systems that are coming. But they're saying you can solo as a healer, but it's really for group play. I mean, it's kind of like in World of Warcraft 2. You can play as a healer and you'll never die, but your damage output is so weak that it's going to take you forever to really accomplish anything. And it's kind of similar as a tank. I mean, you're super tanky, but you have a little bit of DPS output, but not as much utility. So again, soloing as a tank is normally a hard thing in most MMOs, but we'll see how it actually pans out here in PAX Day. But so there you go. You have it so that your soloing is possible. Your staves are going to have a little support projectile, but it's not going to do a lot of damage. Here's the big part, targeting improvements. We talked again a little bit about this before, but when you use Alt to cast, I'm guessing that when you press Alt, it will target yourself. But do you have to hold Alt and then push the key to do the spell? That's what I'm wondering. Not a big deal. We'll find that out as soon as we hop in. Viv says, I won't have audio, so I'm just mainly be lurking and peeking at chat. Well, make sure that you pay close attention to chat, Viv, because we're gonna be giving away a free copy of VRising during the stream, and you're gonna want to hear that. I'll make an announcement at a random portion throughout the stream for people, and then I'll post the code for you guys. Whoever does redeem it, Make sure you just let me know. Got it. It worked. Thank you very much. That way we know, everyone else knows, hey, it's been redeemed. Let's see here. And then F1 through F6 is going to be for targeting party members. So I'm going to have to use something else for my spell cast then, because I use F1 through F4 for my primary spells that I cast. But now we're going to have a lot more. So it's going to be turning into an actual MMO. This is really exciting, actually, because now we're going to have to use all the buttons on our mouse. We're going to have to use different modifiers or something in order to cast these spells. And hopefully we have the ability to use modifiers. Because what if I want to do target with F1 through F6 and cast with like Alt F1 through F6, like the spells? Hopefully we're able to do that with modifiers, but we'll see. We'll see once we get in there. Havoc, how's it going, man? Welcome into the stream. Saw says, I think it's ranking how much we've given. Maybe. I don't know. It just says community. That's all it tells me from that. I'm not really sure what that means though, but I guess we'll find out as time goes on. I'll look it up too to see, or if someone else wants to look it up, see what those new little crown number 1, 2, and 3 things are on YouTube. All right, we got sigils and rarity. Sigils are still required to craft some of the new items. So not all of them, but some. And as we know, a lot of them are actually going away. They're changing the way that all the crafting is going to work, and we're going to talk about that crafting here in just a moment. Items now have rarity levels, common, uncommon, and rare. So we're going to have 3 tiers to all of the different items in the game. Common items don't require relics. So the common ones, they just are going to use the materials. And then uncommon probably uses medium rarity relics. And then rare is probably going to use, you know, rare relics, if I had to guess. Let me know what you guys think or how you feel about that. Saw says, yeah, I bet it's about how many times we've done the things. It might be, yeah. Oh, Ange says it's activity ranks. Okay. Deadbird, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream, man. I miss you. I miss you, buddy. I miss all the people we haven't seen in a while. I'm hoping that, you know, we can spark PAX Day back to life. We can jolt it back to life with some good updates to it. Ange says the more active you are, the more XP you get. Oh, so like talking interactions, Saw's asking? That would make sense. All right, armor, weapons, mobility. All players move at the same speed regardless of the armor weight. Okay, so heavy armor is not going to slow you down. They say, however, feat slot items include spells that can temporarily improve your movement speed. So I think what they're saying there is that with light armor or medium or cloth, you're going to have shoes that are going to increase your speed. You're going to have that breath of joy or whatever on those shoes. And then you're going to be able to activate it and run super fast. Whereas the heavy armor is maybe going to have something more defensive or something more utility driven. Blippy says, so spam chat. Roger. Mapu spell says crowns. Click on it. And there is a question mark explanation. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a new feature. That's kind of cool. I'm happy to see that they're bringing some more features and stuff over to YouTube for streaming. It's really been lacking for quite some time, but I think it's really picking up now. Watson says best way to reignite PAX Day is for verse 3 to drop. Yes, but it needs to drop in a good state. I feel like this patch is pivotal. This patch is super, super important to PAX Day's existence and going forward because people have waited almost a year now. We've gotten, you know, some little updates here and there and stuff like that. We've gotten, you know, the markets and the God, I forgot what they called the last update where we got the combat, a little bit of combat changes. We got some small stuff added in, but we need the build pieces. We need the crafting overhaul. We need the combat overhaul. We need so much needs to happen in the game with permissions and world bosses and dungeons and raids, and we need a lot of things still. So I'm really hoping that this patch drops in a good state and doesn't just drop simply to drop. You know what I mean? Sa, thank you for your 10-month message. 10 months of being a senior sleuth. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate you. She says, oh, look, a way to slightly spam streamer. Yes, brisket. She smacks us with the triple brisket. It's great to see so many people partaking in those Tangia dungeons too, by the way, guys. That's a lot of fun. Salty says, I have a novel idea for movement. Horses? Yeah, I'd love to see horse. Nas says, this morning's announcement had looks at the different gear weight so you can see the spells. Yeah, I'll pull up all the images and stuff when we actually get to the real announcement. I just wanted to go over this one and touch base on it first. So we'll be getting into all of that nitty gritty here in just a moment. Blimpy says, that salty veteran here. Try banding these empty halves of a coconut together, or banging these empty halves of coconut together. Yeah, to make the clickety clack noise. Soon TM for horses, Templar says. Yep, absolutely, as always. Watson says you are correct. It has to be good or the game can end. Yeah, I think a lot of people are in that boat. I think a lot of people are, 100%. Richard says horse or death. Well, they showed off that thing with the badger. I don't know if you guys saw that. They showed like someone riding a badger as a little goofy thing that they put out on their Discord. It looked super funny. Saw says I wanted bear mounts. That'd be pretty cool too. All right, so let's see here. Heavy armor, more protection, more threat and aggro, and slower damage output. Tank weapons, mace, great mace, lower DPS but greater extra threat and aggro. Yeah, we talked about all that last time. Combat rolls and progression. This system supports roles like tank, healer, DPS without locking you in. Yeah, it's more of a soft class system. You're kind of building what you are, what you wear, and what you train with. You're not specifically locked down like in World of Warcraft where you're like, I'm gonna play a paladin, but then you can switch between your specs. There's no real class system in PAX Day. I'm sure everyone here already knows that, but note that spell stats, armor types is a combination that can be tweaked separately. However, you are welcome to mix and match different items from different armor types that come with different stats and spells. Yeah, so you could wear part leather, part cloth, part plate, use any weapon you want. Experiment and be unique, be your own person. If you like the speed of the leather boots, but you want to have, my question is, are we still going to be able to hot swap our gear? Because then all you have to do is put on the running shoes, use the running spell, swap back to your plate boots. Like they said they were going to do away with that at one point. I remember them talking about. So that'd be nice to actually see that get fixed. Mapu Smell says badgers. We don't need no stinking badgers. Epic Prime says, whoa man, you can't just go around mounting bears without asking first. Giant badger is terrifying. Could you imagine that? How many people died from verse 1 from the badgers, and now if they had giant badgers? I mean, I think they were just joking around. We're not gonna have giant badgers, right? That would be crazy though. Black Wolf says no hot swapping. Combat locked means you're gear locked. Did they say that? Maybe they say that somewhere else in here in another announcement. Did they actually put that out, Black Wolf, that they're going to actually restrict hot swapping now? That's a really great thing for the game in my opinion, because I always thought it was a little bit cheesy. So what's going to happen with, like, let's just say, the magnificent leather pauldrons, they used to allow you to put on the shoulders, cast the spell, everyone had the buff, you could take them off. But if you're not combat locked, what's that going to mean? You can still swap out of combat. You could still swap the shoes to run as long as you're not in combat, right? Black Pickle, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Our 2nd out of 10 super chats towards our super chat goal on this stream. Pickle says, well, at this moment, with all the gutting, is going to be a whole new game to experience. Looking forward to the new changes. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. They completely gutted the entire crafting system, which we're about to see in a little bit here. They gutted the combat system. It's interesting to see that they're gutting them and starting from the ground up. According to them, that's their own words, from the ground up. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, it's gonna be like a whole new game, right? Nas says it was said in the Discord. Oh, okay. That's one of the criticisms that I've always given them. I try to be fair and neutral on a lot of stuff, and I just give my honest opinion, which you guys can always count on me for. And I always thought that was a little weird. It's like, I get it. You're over on the Discord, you get some inside stuff, but some of the things that they only tell you on the Discord were really big, important stuff. Like, I feel like people should have known about the wipe happening with the patch on the official post that they did day one, because not everyone's on the Discord. That's something that's super important. Something like this, yeah, you can be on the Discord, get a little, back inside information, things like that. I'm cool with that. But that was one of my biggest criticisms, was communication on their end. Jack says armor swapping is blocked, but I don't know about weapons. Blippi says badgers of unusual size, I don't believe they exist. Havoc says hot swap gear locked confirmed. Okay, cool, perfect. So that's going to do away with all that cheesiness of, hey, I'm going to take the benefits of this. But think about this now. What if you have someone who's like a town cleric who's going to be wearing all these things to give you buffs? And this could actually be a good, like this, I could see this being a good thing, right? But you have a town cleric who's putting spells and buffs on people who are then going out into PvP or going out into a dangerous area. So you're in town, you go to the church, you get your blessings and stuff. That could be a roleplay thing, honestly. I kind of like that. Because if if you put on the shoulders, I know the shoulders don't exist anymore. They did away with the shoulder slot. But if you put on like a piece of gear, cast the spell, and then you take it off to go to a dungeon, all that spell is going to drop off of everyone. So if you have a town cleric who's wearing special armor in order to buff people in town, people will be coming to get that buff so that they could go out and then experience that stuff. That'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be a good way of doing it. Pete, how's it going? Welcome in. Queen, how's it going? Welcome in. Sorry, just got here. Who are we gutting? We're not gutting anyone, at least currently. I mean, not at this exact moment, but if we're talking about PAX Day, gutting the different combat systems and stuff, and the crafting. Pickle says, kind of wasted our time if you think about it. Wasted our time how? With like the testing and stuff? I mean, I think they needed testers in order to find out that, hey, this probably should be gutted. So I mean, I don't feel burnt on that in that regard. It's nice to see things go through iterations. I'm glad to have been along for that ride. Blimpy says, sounds like Star Wars Galaxies. Havoc says, the crafting loop felt very cumbersome before. It really did. And I'm excited. Once we blaze through the rest of this, I'm really excited to start talking about the crafting stuff. But we'll probably have, another 5-10 minutes of going over the rest of this while I keep up with chat. Queen says, I like gutting. But Drill, how's it going? He says, hello at Inner Sleuths and fellow blood brothers. Proprietors of the Stag and Willow Inn give salutations. Great to see you, Fidril. Thanks for stopping by. Pickle says, yeah, all the F8. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. I felt that it was kind of strange that they didn't tell us, hey, we're actually working on a complete rework for all of these things. It's probably going to be 6 months in, so don't bother like testing this, and this. Like with Star Citizen and other games, they normally tell you what the testing focus is. Like VRising, whenever there's, doing a testing thing, it's like, hey, this is the test focus. This is what we need information back on so they can iterate on something. I could see where you're coming from, Pickle. All those months of giving F8 reports on things that we thought were being iterated on just to find out that they're being removed anyways. It would have been nice to know, hey, 6 months from now, everything's going to be gutted. They had to have known because they're working on it for 6 months too. So I hear you. Watson says, if that guy Fadril, it's that guy Fadril from the bartender from the Stag and Willow Inn. Pete says, I like learning to play flute in Guild Wars 2 at the moment. Or I'm learning to play the flute in Guild Wars 2 at the moment. Real playable instruments are great for roleplay. I agree 100%. I think that'd be really awesome. Let me know in chat, what instruments would you guys want to see if they were to add in an instrument playability system into PAX Day? Sauce says they really do keep us in the dark about a bunch of stuff, not gonna lie. No, 100% they do. That's it's been one of my biggest criticisms of them. Lippy says, I totally didn't forget at Maven Moon. Shifty eyes. Seems like a whole new game. Cat Died says. Cat Died, how's it going? Welcome into the stream. Yeah, it kind of does, which is really interesting. Again, a year into the early access, it's a whole new game. Very strange, honestly. I've never really quite seen that before. I have seen systems a while into early access get big overhauls and stuff, but to have all of the systems in your game pretty much just get gutted, it's very strange. But let's blaze through the rest of this. Each armor type and slot now has its own combat skill. Combat XP is earned by defeating enemies and shared with your party, granted to all equipped weapons and armor types, killing veteran enemies, group content enemies with skulls next to their names, so again, a new thing there, will grant more XP. Gear, such as armor, switching will be blocked during combat. So they only say during combat, though. That doesn't answer the question of out of combat. So they say gear and armor switching will be blocked out of combat. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Does anyone have any other info from the Discord where the devs have clarified this even further, which is funny because this is supposed to be the clarification, but could you put a buff on yourself, swap your gears, keep the buff, but now go get into combat? It sounds, according to this, it sounds like that would still be available, right? Or am I wrong on that? Let me know in chat, guys. That's how I read it. Gear, armor, switching will be blocked during combat, but out of combat, you're still free to do it. I wonder if the spells will drop off, though. Weapons and abilities. Every weapon now comes as a package with 3 built-in abilities, tailored to its style and role, which we went over in the past episode. Weapon types are now available across all tiers. You can now pick based on playstyle, not just item level. A lot of this stuff is what we already went over in last episode. Blocking and defense shields and two-handed weapons can block. Oh, shield and two-handed weapons can block. So one-handed weapons will no longer be able to block on their own. One-handed weapons and healing staves cannot block. Okay, interesting. So you're not going to have any block, because I'm thinking that healing staves are two-handed. So you're not going to be able to block at all with that. Spells and PvE and PvP. Some older spells like Mesmerize and Pacify do not function in PvP. Still do not function in PvP. Okay. So they're probably trying to figure out how that should work in PvP. Pete says Guild Wars 2 has flute, lute, harp, horn, bell, bass, and drum. That's quite a bit. I mean, it's a pretty good spread, right? Cooldowns. For example, Ambush on the chest spell typically has a 50 to 70 second cooldown, subject to balancing. Okay, so it is slot specific. Now, what happens when it's on cooldown? Can you exit combat and then change your armor? This is things they need to think about. So right now, you're not gonna be able to change your gear in combat. But again, out of combat, do you retain the spell that you gained from that gear? That's question number one. Question number two now is these cooldowns. If I use my chest piece of leather or something and I do an ambush and I kill the target with the ambush and all my spells, can I now, I'm out of combat, can I now change my armor because I'm out of combat? What happens to the cooldown? It's a 50 to 70 second cooldown. If I change out my chest piece for a plate that has some other taunt or something, can I immediately use that taunt, or does it stay on cooldown? These are things that need to be thought about, because otherwise you can still cheese it. Havoc says the medium armor set with ambush on it looks fantastic too. Yeah, I'm excited for the medium armor. I think that's going to be a really cool thing for people to mess around with. All right, we're almost through this little clarifications here, and then we're going to get on to the real meat and potatoes. Durability and loot. Heavy armor and weapon durability are increased while a larger durability rework is in progress. Okay, so they're just increasing the durability, but they're doing a whole durability rework and still in progress. That's how I take that. Loot drop tables have been rebalanced. That's great. Stronger gear is meant to be rare, harder to craft, but with an improved durability. Oh, okay, so the stronger gear, meaning like maybe the more rare it is, it's going to have improved durability on it as well. Skill requirements. This was another thing that a lot of people had questions about. Gear now has minimum combat skill requirement, meaning each of the pieces. So let's say you have like a heavy chest piece. Your proficiency with those heavy chest pieces and certain pieces will require a certain proficiency or a skill level for each of those slots and weapons. So bear that in mind. For example, if an item needs 30 skill, you must meet that level to be able to equip it in the first place. You're just not gonna be able to use it because you're not like strong enough or proficient enough with it. Combat skill scales the item power, so investing in your role matters. Yep, the better you get with a weapon or your gear and stuff like that, it's gonna perform better for you. And we will very soon publish the spotlight on the crafting changes, with the possibility of organizing a Q&A with the devs on their Discord. I want to get a Q&A here on the channel. Let me know what you guys think about that. That'd be really awesome to get. So that's their clarifications there. Let's get over to the actual news now. That's going to be right here, the crafting changes. This is the new stuff that we're all waiting for. It took us almost an hour to get to this point, but we got some good stuff in here. Jack says, I'm thinking there will be a cooldown of using any spell after swapping gear. I hope so. That's how I would do it. The cooldown should retain, or it should not let you change, because let's face it, even if the cooldown retains and you can still switch your gear, you could put leather on, cast the spell for ambush, and then switch to plate, so now you have more protection. It's still cheesing the system. They need to make it so that if you're on cooldown, you cannot unequip it, or some other workaround for that. But that's going to be important. That's going to be really, really important for that. All right, so this is the spotlight for upcoming crafting changes. They start off this one, as always, hello Paxians, and this was posted today. As we continue reshaping PAX Day's core systems, crafting is stepping into the spotlight. With the arrival of the Path of the Adventurer, we're not just adding new recipes or tweaking numbers, we're rethinking, the entire structure and flow of crafting. Again, like they're gutting these things from the ground up. It's kind of crazy. To make it more engaging, intuitive, and meaningful at every tier. This is good stuff, but again, it's crazy that it needed to be gutted in the first place. This revamp is major. It complements the update to combat and progression, and it reflects months of work by the design team to better align the system with how players actually want to play. More meaningful gathering, more strategic crafting, and clearer professional identities. But again, they talk about here how it's been in works by the design team for months, but we didn't know about it. So we were given those F8 reports and, trying to help iterate on things and learning the systems and whatnot, just for it to be gutted. Very strange. Disclaimer, it is possible that by the time the update is deployed, some minor changes will occur to the details below. As always, guys, that should be a given right out the gate, right? That should be a given because the game's in early access. I mean, everything's going to be changing. All right, 4 key goals. We've structured the crafting overhaul around 4 core design goals. So this is going to be what, they've centered everything around here. Easier onboarding. One of the most common points on feedback from players, especially newer ones, has been that starting a crafting profession feels unclear or overly dependent on other players. We're addressing that by making it faster and simpler to start any core profession. What do they mean by core profession? I wonder what that means. That has to mean something because words have meaning, right? So that core professions mean something. They mean like leatherworking, blacksmithing, but not like weaponsmithing or, something more specialized. Maybe that's what they mean. Removing the need for a dedicated processing crafter to begin basic crafting. So you're not going to need someone who's just dedicated to processing any more of the materials. Streamlining the earlier game to help you get into the loop quickly without getting stuck on bottlenecks. This lowers the barrier to entry and makes early progression more rewarding. Let's pull up this picture right here real quick so we can take a look at this. So this is, I believe, at the Petra Day. This is going to be some of the new stuff that's going to be at the spawn locations because we know we're going to have basic crafters and basic storage at the Petra Day available for all players with their transition over to the free-to-play model. So they're going to be going with a no subscription free-to-play model where you are not a landowner. So they're adding all of these basic crafting stations and stuff to the Petra Day to allow those free-to-play players to have access to these crafting stations. Watson says, that is a good thing in my opinion. Sometimes I'll get to chat and it's after whatever you were talking about has passed. So what is a good thing? Let me know. Give me some context to that, Watson. Saw says that makes sense. The Cat Died says, I was pretty bummed about them removing armor pieces. I distinctly remember asking for more armor slots. I thought they could expand on that and make it more immersive and realistic. I don't recall anyone complaining about it. Yeah, they did do away with some of the armor slots. So like you don't have a slot for your chainmail anymore. One of your leg slots is gone. I think maybe a couple other slots were gone too, but I know of at least those 2. They did remove those slots from your character. I think the more slots allow you to have more variety, but they're probably having trouble balancing it maybe, so they want to dial down how many you can actually have in order to put the spells on the things that are available to make them more impactful while making it easier to balance and manage. That's the only thing I could think. If you limit the number of combinations, it makes it easier to balance. That's the only thing I can think of as to why they would do that. Otherwise, it doesn't really make much sense because now your shoulder pads and your garment chest piece are attached all in the chest slot. It's all one thing, your shoulder pads, your chest, and the undergarment. Kind of strange. The level requirement for armor. Oh yeah, I think that the level requirements and stuff is a good thing. All right, so that's a little glimpse as to those crafting stations there. Let's see what they go on to say here. Real complexity, not confusion. Crafting should grow deeper as you master it, not just more time consuming. I agree 100%. I love when systems actually respect your time. They don't just, take 5 hours just for the sake of taking 5 hours, right? They actually have some immersion to what you're making and collecting and crafting and producing in the world. Hopefully they consider bringing us a maker's mark because with all this extra work and stuff, hopefully people can get their names put on their gear that they're making, because I think that's just going to really make it shine. And you're going to be able to go to the end, the original person who made it, as opposed to just the end person who's selling it, right? Because if you go and buy something, it could be resold. You don't even know who's making it. You think that person is, but you look at the maker's mark, you realize, oh, this actually came from Bloodhaven. You know, yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Havoc says, I suggested they bring those slots back as cosmetic slots. I did see that, Havoc. I did see that. Yeah, I think that'd be, at least it would give us something, you know? A dev responded that it was a good idea and that it has been noted, so maybe it makes a comeback. Yeah, I mean, even if they came back just as cosmetic, I'd be okay with that. I mean, I always want more variety, but again, variety's only better if they can balance it. If it's unbalanced, then the game's just gonna be a shit show, so maybe they're doing it for balancing reasons, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I did see that you posted that over there, Havoc. And I agree. If we could get them as cosmetics, at least we have something returning. You know, I don't like seeing features and things leaving games. I want to see more added in. Cat Died says, right, so maybe the components to make the armor piece will remain the same, but you just get one big hunk of armor, piecing it all versus piecing it all together. Maybe. I guess we'll see. Pete says, GM Maker's Mark, we're in UO. Templar says, I could see them back as spots where they finally get the dyes and stuff. I cannot wait to be able to dye our armor. That's going to add a lot of variety and flavor to the world. Hopefully you don't have anything crazy like super bright neon pink and stuff like that, because that would ruin my immersion. Cat Died says, plus they said we could dye the armor, trim it, etc. So maybe that is why they are combining the armor slots. Potentially. I mean, someone else mentioned maybe there was clipping issues. I don't know if that could be a reason why too. Plus the balancing. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I guess we'll see. So they say tiered complexity. Tier 1 recipes remain simple, but higher tiers improve or introduce more layered ingredient chains. So that means that as you go up through the different tiers, they're going to require more and more layers on top of the ingredients. Grab a quick drink of water here. Catch up on some more chat. Cat Died, Watson says, red plate with orange trim. Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I know a lot of people are really looking forward to Sa, don't you want to dye your armor or your clothing and stuff? Isn't that something you've been wanting to do for a while? I think since like, what, week 1, right? Jolly Jumper, how's it going? Not going very well, actually, according to your message, and goodbye. Act in good faith or don't act at all. It's pretty simple around here, right? Act in good faith or don't act at all. That's what moderation is for. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from everyone, but not if people are just going to talk smack, right? This is not the place for that. You can talk smack somewhere else, not here in my house. Not here on my channel. Sauce says, and change my makeup. Yes, that was something you were talking about too. You're wanting to change your makeup. Makeup, dye your clothes, all the pretty things, right? We need some customization. We need some things to make people able to really bring some character identity into the world. Black Wolf says you can sort of see an example of the armor clothes dyeing in a few pictures coming up. Oh, are there like little sneak peek things? Oh, cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that for sure. Havoc's laughing. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard, right? It's act in good faith or don't act at all, right? It's very simple. All right, so let's see here. What do we got next? Cross-profession clarity. Components will now be more clearly belonging to the professions or to another, reducing ambiguity. So basically what they mean by this, I think, is on the actual ingredient itself, it's probably going to tell you what it's used for or who it's made by. Before, you didn't really know if something was made by a tailor or a leather worker. Some of the things had a little bit of crossover that made it a little confusing, and you couldn't really tell where it came from or how to get your hands on it or, what it was used for. So I'm happy to see that they're going to be making it that a lot clearer, because that was confusing for a lot of people, especially like, for instance, for making potions. At first, people didn't really know. We have to look up in a journal and try and dig to find out where the vials even come from. And then what level was even required of blacksmith in order to get the vials that you needed. So a lot more clarity on that printed right in the tooltip is going to be pretty damn good for the game, I think. Athena says, change my hair around. Yes, that's another thing that I've heard a lot of people say as well. I've heard that a lot of people are wanting to change their hair. I mean, a lot of games have a mirror that you can go to the mirror and then change your character's appearance for things like hair. Now, it wouldn't make much sense to let you change other features because that's going to change your whole character identity. But when it comes to hair, I mean, your hair grows, you change your hairstyle. I think that hair should at very least be able to be changed, and then maybe change your makeup at the mirror as well. I think that'd be really good for the game, honestly. Give people a lot more authority over their character or how they want to look on any given day, or change up, their look for, maybe this week they're going to an event or something and they want to change their hairstyle to something more fancy, but then when they're not at the event, it's just more options, right? All comes back to, I look at things through a lens of RP as well, because we're all big RPers. Cat Died says, you read every comment pretty much and consider all the contribution to the conversation. You aren't trash talking. Oh, you're talking about me? It's a podcast with chat. I mean, yeah, I don't know what that guy was talking about. People, that's the thing. Some people will call me a fanboy. Some people will call me a doomsayer. Some just want to talk trash. I mean, hey, people are free to put their things out there. It really just makes them look like an ass and you get deleted and banned from the channel. So act in good faith, guys. I don't ask for much, just act in good faith, right? Let's catch up on some more chat. I do my best to read every message, at least. Cat Died. Some of them slip through. I do my best though. Havoc says, oh, look, the immediate consequence of poorly thought out actions. I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple, right? Watson says, thinking about it, I would love to have an all black outfit and sneak around in the night. A stealth mechanic would be really cool. We do know that we're getting a kind of like invisibility mechanic of some sort with a spell. I don't know how that's really going to pan out just yet, or what that's going to mean. Is it just that one spell? Do we have things that can increase our sneak? That would be pretty cool. Brandon, how's it going? Brandon says, I would love to see a short clip of the changes they are implementing. All in all, excited for the changes. So you'd like to see short clips on these changes? It's kind of hard to pack all of this stuff into a short. I mean, if I was going to make a short about these and not have like the open chat platform, it would basically be just me reading through it. And then in that case, someone else, like you could just read through it yourself. I mean, it's a good idea. I'll see if I can find a way to maybe put out the streams as well as that. But this whole platform is designed for people to actively give their thoughts and opinions on stuff, because devs do come and stop by this. It's to have an open platform to chat, right? Queen says, all black everything. Yes, please, and thank you. That'd be pretty awesome. Watson says, I see Little Sweet Killer making an all black assassin's outfit. That'd be pretty cool, huh? And thank you for the 3rd out of 10 super chats towards our goal. Hit the like button, please and thank you. Appreciate you. Guys, hit that like button if you're enjoying the conversation we're having so far. And I appreciate all the support from you guys. Thank you so much, Ange. Ya says an invisible potion, an invisibility potion. That'd be pretty sweet, huh? There's an idea. Brandon says, oh, long videos would be great, but shorts are better than nothing. That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do shorts on content drops like this. I mean, if I just wanted to just read through the notes, I just find that a little silly, to be honest. If I'm just going to make a video or a short of me just reading the bullet points, like people can read, so they can go read it themselves. But that's why I like to give my thoughts and opinions. And these normally run hours long because we're sitting here chatting about all kinds of fun stuff. And it's a way to connect with the community too, you know? But I'll see what I can do. I'll try and look into that. Maybe there's a way to do some form of shorts for people who need a little quickie on the go, you know? Pete says, there was a Grand Master Tailor in UO called Harmony. He sold gear with his name on it. Wink face. Was that you? Was that you, Pete? Or are you talking about someone else? Brandon says specifically from PAX dev team. I mean, they do put out some content, but I mean, normally devs and stuff leave the content creation to content creators, and then you can find your favorite content creator and support their work. They, you know, other people do shorts, some people do streams. Like, that's my thing. I like to do live streams and chat with you guys. There's all different ways that people put out content, but normally devs don't do too much of their own content. They'll do like Twitter posts and stuff. Normally, typically from other devs that I've seen, that's kind of the way it goes. And then they really lean on the community of content creators to put out different forms of content to help get it across to people. Salty says, I'm sad I can't have Tangia dungeon notification sounds anymore. I'm missing a bunch. Why are they not coming through? Oh, you can't hear the Tangia Dungeon notification sounds. I hear them. I'm not sure why they're not going over to chat. I'll have to look into that. Blackwolf says, just give me gold-plated armor. You want gold-plated armor? Cat Died says, all the changes. There's a lot of chat, guys. I'm going to try and catch up with all this here. I'm doing my best. Again, if you want anything read for sure, make sure you put it in a super chat. Cat Died says, all the changes in this announcement are pretty vague descriptions on what is being changed. It is very difficult to paint a picture of what PAX Day will look like, especially via shorts. We need more in-depth information. It was 2 messages. I had to find the follow-up one. In-depth information or just wait for the update to drop. Yeah, I mean, some of it can be a little vague, and that's why I think their communication is always the thing that I criticize them the most on. But, I mean, at least we have something to read and chat about. Otherwise, people just forget about the game and it just dies off into nothingness, right? And says, I would probably make a few different color assassin outfits. A girl's got to blend in. Well, that's true, right? You gotta match into the environment. And Maven says, word, Ange. I was thinking the exact same thing when I was reviewing the info this morning at Cat Died. Ange is saying. Watson says, sadly, main character would be slighted. Hold on, I gotta reread that. Sadly, my main character would be slighted from 5 miles away with the colors I want to use. Oh, sighted. My dyslexia. Pardon. Sorry. You'd get sighted from all the bright colors. I gotcha. Busy, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Black Wolf says I'm part of Golden Company. I know you are. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty neat for you guys to be able to have gold-plated armor. Be pretty interesting. All right. What else we got here? Real complexity, not confusion. So we touched on these 2. Right here. Persistent value. So this has been a big thing for a long time. People craft a ton of stuff and then it just ends up in a river, right? A lot of stuff just ends up in a river or gets thrown out. Hopefully we get, and maybe they'll let us know about that. Maybe if one of the devs is listening, can you let us know? Are we going to be getting salvaging with this? I don't know if we are or not, but they say persistent value, early tiered items, especially tier 1 items, will retain relevance at higher tiers. Example is as ingredients or in alternate recipes. So that probably means by alternate recipes, they probably mean the higher tier ones. Like you'll need to have this lower tier of armor. VRising does this. You need to have the basic tier to make the one above it. And then you get a new material. You make that basic tier and then you use that tier to make the one above that. I think that's a good system because then nothing really goes to waste, depending on how much XP you need to get to be able to make those higher tiers. So if we had salvaging, that would really help there, I think. Brandon says, I think you do a great job. Listen to the last few videos in full. Love these streams. I meant would be great to see some video content for upcoming changes from their dev team. From Mainframe, you're saying? You want Mainframe to put out stuff? That's what I was saying. Like normally, typically devs don't really take the time to be content creators themselves. They have put out some select things themselves, but normally they rely on the content creator community to make a lot of stuff. And hey, if they're putting out their own videos on stuff, then it kind of puts some people out of a job. Kevin, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Great to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. We're just getting into the crafting changes, Kev. So that's what we can expect with some of the changes there. Let's pull up this next image for you guys. Let's look at this. So this is a little peek at some of the new crafting stations. This is the log workbench. So the log workbench, let me pull up this image myself so I can read this because it's tiny on my screen right now. This log workbench says, he who works with his hands and his head and his heart is an artist. A rough hewn bench carved from a single felled trunk fitted with pegs. Wait a second. Pegs confirmed? We're getting pegs back? Are pegs making a return? And crude planks, the cherished companion of every settler for simple crafting. So this is your basic, simple workbench to be able to get some stuff done. But it even says it's made with pegs, but I thought they were doing away with pegs. That's actually kind of funny. But there you can see, is there anything else in that image? I always like to glean over their images and see if there's anything else that I'm missing or that they're hiding in there. Compass looks the same. Everything in the background, I don't see any new crafting stations hidden back there. You can see some new spells and stuff down in the UI, and you can see those 3 slots where you're... Oh, look at his boots. Look at his boots, guys. He's got like orange little strips on his leather shoes there, it looks like. So that may be either dyeing, or maybe that's going to be some type of trim option or something. I would not expect... I would be super happy to get it, but I would not expect to get dyes this patch. Maybe we will. I don't know. Maybe that's just a trim option. I don't know. What is that? Is that just the new look for those boots, but it's non-modifiable until we get, the customization options? Cat Knight says rip pegs. Blimpy says I knew stashing all my pegs would pay off. Devlar says good thing I still got 10 boxes of pegs. Loop says Pegs was before my time. Yeah, I think pegs are gone now, but Black Pickle says brass. Yeah, it does look like kind of brass on there, or gold or something. It's pretty interesting. And look at the knee pads. They have like little bronze rivets as well. And on his belt, little gold tassels and stuff. That may just be how they look, but that's the only thing I can glean from this image here. I always try to find any little hidden stuff that they throw in those images. His boots are made for walking, Ange says. Kev says, looks like brass strips. Yeah, they very well could be. All right, that brings us to smarter dependencies. Crafting collaboration is good. And again, it's a socially oriented game, right? So you're going to need to interact with other players. You're going to need to, again, need is a harsh word. You don't actually have to. If you want to be out in the woods, there's nothing actually stopping you from doing everything yourself besides time investment, really. That's it. But, as we always say, in Bloodhaven, it's a lot of fun to have a bunch of people around because you always have someone who you can go and interact with, and it allows you to focus on what you want to focus on, and you don't have to do everything. So I always encourage people to embrace the social aspect of Bloodhaven and the Fellowship of the Free Cities. That being said, they say crafting collaboration is good, but dependencies shouldn't be frustrating. That has been a key point for a lot of people, is that it was overly frustrating with some of the dependencies that you had on other crafting professions. We're restructuring how professions rely on each other. Bullet point number 1 here says components from other professions will now be at least, so it could be more, but at least 1 tier lower than the item that's being crafted. So if you're making like a tier 2 thing, for instance, you're only going to need tier 1 items from other professions. So it's going to have a step down when using materials from other professions. Now that means 2 things. It means it's going to be easier to source it from a wider variety of people. And if you're doing multi-professions, you don't have to perfectly specialize really highly into all of the other professions as backup ones. So if you're doing like leatherworking and you need some things from blacksmithing, you don't have to 100% blacksmithing, right? Because you need 1 tier below the best tier of stuff that's going to be needed for leatherworking. I think that's a great system. It makes it so you don't have to bash your head against the wall for all the professions in order to get what you want out of it. I think that is a great way of going about doing it. There's next bullet point here says this preserves interdependence while avoiding deadlocks and confusion. It also helps reduce crafting overhead when you're focusing on progressing in your own field. And I could not agree more with that. Again, it's going to allow you to be able to focus in on what you really want to do while maybe minoring in some other things. They say these changes keep specialization valuable without pushing solo crafters or punishing small groups or solo crafters. So they're trying to make it a little more friendly to those small groups, to the solo player who's popping into the game. No longer gone are going to be the days where you have to 100% every profession in the game and bash your head against the wall of just crafting millions and millions of things. They're going to flow. The lower tier stuff's going to flow into the higher stuff. It's going to make it more useful for longer. Overall, a much, much better system. I think we can all agree this is a much, much better system. Are there any things that we've talked about so far that you guys can think would make the systems that we know about, that what they've touched on, better? Can you guys pop off in chat? Let me hear you. Can you guys think of any other changes from the things that we've talked about so far? We're about to go into better pacing, but anything that we've talked about so far that you think should be changed, modified, altered, reverted, anything like that, let us know in chat. I want to hear from you guys if you like these new changes or any cool ideas that you have that the devs maybe should consider implementing. Stephen Kane, how's it going, man? Welcome into the stream. Really great to see you. Great to have you here on this stupendous day where we're talking about huge crafting changes. Ange, thank you for the Tangia to remind me to drink. Let me grab a quick drink here, guys. I'm mandated by the Tangia splash. Give me one moment. All right. A hydrated streamer is a good streamer? Is that a thing? Better pacing. Let's get into this. We got some cool images here to go over as well. I'll bring these up full screen for you guys so you can really zoom in on them and check them out. We got Herbert, a jump scare Herbert. That scared the crap out of me actually, because there haven't been a lot of Tangias other than the dungeons and the splash. They say we want crafting to be more about the world and less about waiting at a bench. I could not agree more. I think it's silly when games have you just waiting at a bench simply for the sake of waiting at a bench. It doesn't respect your time. You've already put in the effort to go and collect things, right? So now you shouldn't have to sit there for hours on end waiting for things to smelt and craft and cook. They say progress and costs are being rebalanced across all 3 core professions. So they're doing a 100% balance across the 3 core professions. Again, what do they mean by core professions? I don't think they've really mentioned what that means. I'm assuming that's like blacksmith, leatherworking, and what, tailoring? I don't know. Is that the 3 main ones or so? Cooking? I don't like, what is the core professions? I don't even know what that means. We're increasing the importance of gathering and reducing the need to be idle at crafting stations. Again, really great to hear. Chris, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, buddy. Great to see you. Another Tangia dungeon fired up, guys. Make sure you get in those dungeons. Blacksmithing, leather, and tailoring. Those are the 3 cores. Okay, there we go. You know, it could be cooking or something too. That's why I was like, I really have no idea. They didn't really outline or specify what those would be. So let's see. They want to reduce our idle time at crafting stations. Changes include adjusted yields, ingredient costs, and XP modifiers to reflect this philosophy. So a whole rebalance on the whole system there. This means that your time in the world gathering, hunting, and mining, it is what drives your progress, not just standing still and watching a progress bar. I like that a lot. The more activities we could be doing out gathering and interacting with the world rather than just sitting around waiting for stuff, I think that that's always going to be good for the game. Let's bring up this image here. That's the wrong image. Let's bring up this image here. And I'm going to bring this up on my end as well. This is some new recipes or a look at the journal for the recipes. So let's see. I always check the UI too. Looks like they got some new looking icons at the top or with some changes to little details on those icons at the top. Grace and gold are still there. Everything at the top right looks to be normal. Alchemist sign, axe handle. Does anything here stand out as being new or different other than some icons? They love changing icons, don't they? How many icon changes have we been through now? It's crazy. Their iron ore looks different again. Again. They look so different every time. It's crazy. Find mace grip. Let me know if I'm missing anything in here that's new. We have forge parts and furnace parts. The pommels look mostly the same. Blades, hinges, typical stuff. Typical things. I don't think there's anything crazy in here that we're missing, right? Black Wolf says nothing new in here. Nothing but new icons, Pickles says. Havoc says sword hilts and spear shafts are new. Are they? Sword hilts? I thought they always had hilts, didn't they? Are sword hilts new? Spear shafts? Where's a spear shaft? Am I missing that one? Let me see. Oh yeah, find spear shaft. Look at that. Hilts are old? What about the shafts for the spears? Are those old? I don't really craft these things. So let me know, guys, in chat. Find mace grip. Richard says axe handle. It seems like they may be new, some of them. Thank you for the Tangia. Spear shafts are new. Axe handles are new. Okay. So we got a couple new things. It's probably going to reflect the materials that are required in order to make these different recipes. So axe handle, there's probably going to be like maybe a fine axe handle because we have fine mace grip. It's probably going to reflect the different tiers of these pieces of equipment and weapons and stuff. Havoc says, are they new? I don't remember them. We had sword crossbars and pommels, but not hilts. Oh, maybe well, no, because the pommels are still there. Heavy steel pommel. So maybe you need the pommel and like a crossguard to make the hilt, and then you need the hilt to put with the blade in order to make the full sword. I don't know. But anyways, there's some of the new icons and stuff. They have more. They have more to show down below. Black Pickle says, used to be Longwood, now it's called Spear Shaft. Okay. So they renamed some stuff, repurposed them, looks like maybe. Steven says, the big three, in my opinion, are armor crafting, leatherworking, and tailoring. That would make sense. Yeah, that was like my first guess, really. But armor, well, I guess not armor crafting wasn't my first guess. I would say blacksmithing, because armor smithing, weapon smithing kind of are secondary to blacksmithing. But yeah, I think like the smithing, the leatherworking, and the tailoring are probably the three main ones. Athena says there are several new leather bits. Yeah, some new little bits and bobs in there. Bunch of new icons. What's new in the toolbox? This revamp comes with new workflows, new materials, and ultimately new gear. Here are some highlights. So they talk about new workflow. As we mentioned in our recent post on RPG Update, these crafting changes are designed to support and enhance the new combat system. That's why tailoring, leatherworking, and blacksmithing are the three professions undergoing the most dramatic changes. So I'm assuming that right there is them confirming the main three. Because they say that's why tailoring, leatherworking, and blacksmithing are the three professions undergoing the most dramatic changes, as they are the ones used to craft gear and weapons. New spells and gear stats require new crafting inputs. Combat roles like tank, DPS, and healer are now reflected in the gear you craft, so you're going to be able to actually see what it's designed for in the actual piece, or what it's designated for in the actual piece of equipment. Reworked recipes will provide tactical choices for builders, gatherers, and fighters alike. So the reworked recipes are going to provide tactical choices for builders, crafters. That's interesting. I'm kind of racking my head as to how that's going to work. So the reworked recipes are going to have tactical choices for builders? Interesting. What do you guys think that means? Stats for builders. Yeah, that's kind of what my brain went to, but that doesn't really make sense to me. Is that what they mean there, guys? They mean that builders and crafters are going to have to make tactical choices from the recipes? I don't know what that means, really. Let me know what you guys think that means while we pull up this next image. Is this the new one? Yeah, this is the new one. Let me pull this up as well on my end. Ange, thank you for the Tangia. And thanks for all the dungeon, guys. Those really help. Appreciate you. Thanks for all the support. All right. On here, is anything different? We have crafting skills, combat skills, recipes, and ingredients in the journal. So we have some new pieces in here, as you can see. We have Clan Tabard. This looks like this is all cloth stuff here. Cleric's Alb of Cleansing 3, 4, 2. Oh no, wait, 2 is Alb of Reflection. Alb of Reflection 3, Alb of Reflection 4. Cap of Absolution, 2, 3, and 4. Pantlet of the Hollow Seal, 2, 3, and 4. Tailors in the chat, let me know. Cloth pins, coarse cotton cloth. Are these icons the same? Are they common ingredients that have already been there? I want to say they are. We have the Founder's Mantle. Look at that, Magus. Magus's Robe of Concentration. Of Concentration 4. Magnus's Trousers of Entrancement 2 and 3 and 4, Pilgrim's Armbands, 2 and 3, Magus's Hat of Fractured Time. Interesting. Templar says cloth pins and stuff are the same. Okay. Steven says, man, I am so looking forward to this. I was looking forward to Dune, but not so much now. Yeah, a lot of people were excited about Dune. I don't know. I heard it's like a mixed bag about Dune, really. I'm not too sure what to think about it, to be honest. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're excited about the new stuff coming in here. Pickle says lots of new cloth and leather. Loads new, Steven says. In terms of the armor, right? Havoc says, would love to have gear for crafting professions. Builders would benefit from fall damage reduction, perhaps. That'd be actually interesting, Havoc. If they had fall damage reduction on certain gear, that could benefit builders, yeah, for sure. Or like some type of slow fall or catch or something like that. You know, you use some upward. We know about some of the weapons having wind magic and things like that to draw people in or root them in place and stuff. It'd be interesting if there was something like that for builders to have on maybe shoes where they could fall off something or jump off something and not fall to their death. Be pretty interesting. Could also be useful in certain combat situations as well. Cat Dye says that stuff's annoying to make. Blimpy says, I love the Dune books and universe and was excited, but I have concerns about the game, so I'm waiting for now. Yeah, a lot of people do. It's a mixed bag, really, for Dune. I don't know. I'll probably check it out just to keep my eye on it and see. Maybe it's going to impress me. Their whole thing that they announced with the private servers was the thing that really was concerning the most for me, because they're saying at first they said private servers, and then they said private servers not at launch, and then they said private servers not at launch and we have to host them, but you can rent them. And then they said private servers not at launch that we have to host and you can rent them, but all the PvP endgame zones are tied to a single shard. So even though you're on a private server, you still have to go with all the other players. A very strange way of doing it. I would have much rather seen it just been like a mega game like Conan Exiles, where you can host your own 100 slot server, 200 slot server, and just let your community connect to your private server or have an open server and just have people connect to it. I would have much rather seen it go that way rather than down this MMO semi-private server rabbit hole. It just seems kind of strange in my opinion. Cat Died says Dune has got some legs on it. It's going places. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it from various sources, I'll say, without divulging too much because I can't. And I wasn't really impressed with the whole systems that they're going with. First of all, I don't want to get too much into it because this is about PAX Day, but I will touch on it a little bit. First of all, people who are paying for early access, they're going to have tangible benefits over. I know that the Deep Desert does reset, but they're going to have tangible benefits over people who aren't buying the early access. If you don't pay extra to get like the premium edition, you're going to be behind right out the gate. So you're going to be, at least in World of Warcraft, you can get early access to go and level up and stuff, but then like the seasons don't start until everyone has had plenty of time to like get into the loop of things. That's one of the concerns that I have about it. Black Wolf says, I find that Dune is just last Oasis reskinned. I think if any game is changing things, it's Bitcraft Online and their single world shard. And Bitcraft does look really interesting. Yeah. Bitcraft looks pretty interesting. I'm going to have to look into that more. Let me know what else. If you guys want to see some other stuff covered here on the channel, let me know either on the CBU Discord or here on my live streams or in comments. Let me know what you guys want to see too. If there's any games that have your interest that you think my podcast style or my streaming style where I interact with chat a lot could benefit you in some way. Let me know what you guys think about that. But yeah, I'm on the fence about it. Either way, no matter which way you look, I'm on the fence about it. I'm going to keep my eye on it and pay attention to it, but I don't know. Chris says Bitcraft Online is mouse move. Cat Died says at least it have systems. I'm a fan of systems. Yeah, you got it there. That's for sure. Loop says I would love some more variety still clothing wise. I'm hoping that this is just a small glimpse into the stuff. But if you look at some of these have different hues to them. Some of them look slightly different. And then some have completely unique models. That Magus's robe of concentration, that looks awesome. I think that looks super cool. It's like some dark robe. That looks really, really nice. Blimpy says light no fire. Black Pickle says yes, Blimpy. Isn't Light No Fire by the team behind No Man's Sky? Pete says Light No Fire will be out this year. Will it now? Interesting. Maven says I think it'll be small. It'll be a small glimpse. All right, so there's some of the changes with some of these new icons and new pieces of equipment for tailoring. Let's get back into our article here. Oh, we got another picture. Hold on. Wait. Did I miss one of these? No, I showed that. Did they show the same thing twice? They showed the same thing twice on here. They got this image here, and then they got this image here. It's the same image. So we are down to new crafting components. Most professions are gaining a full suite of new intermediate materials designed to support the new tiered structure. These parts will appear at different tiers and will help distinguish recipes by complexity and function. That's good to hear. It's going to make it a lot more streamlined. It's going to make it a little more easy to get into professions, and as you tier up, it should feel hopefully more rewarding. Chris says Bitcraft Online is designed without WASD movement, which is an instant no for me. I was interested until I got in their last alpha. Well, again, it's an alpha, so they could do away with that. I mean, look at how much stuff's changing in PAX Day, and PAX Day's in beta, and they're gutting whole systems. So you never know how it could turn out. If it looks interesting to you, then it might be worth keeping your eye on it and giving that feedback to them and see maybe if they reconsider. I don't know. But if it's the fundamental foundation way of movement in the game, then it may not change, but it couldn't hurt to keep an eye on it. Steven says Arc Raiders now looks so fun. I haven't heard of Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders does look fun, and agreed, Chris says. I'll have to check that out. So they say, for example, leatherworkers will now work with new intermediate material leather splits available in various qualities. So you're going to have leather splits that are going to have maybe like tier 1, 2, and 3, kind of like the bands and stuff. You have like fine leather bands, crude leather bands, or whatever. So now you're going to have different various tiered qualities for these leather splits. This gives more control over final item quality and adds depth to the leatherworking progression. So let's pull up this image here. I think this is it. Yeah, that's it. Let me get it pulled up here so we can look at it together. These are resources. Steel spikes, steel studs. Look at the mead bases. Those got new icons. Stuffed linen padding, interesting. Suede leather, interesting. Weapons belt, very interesting. Wonder what that means. We got some wine bases. Water looks the same. Wood buttons. What the hell? Is that replacing pegs? They said they took out pegs because it was too many crafting ingredients and they put them back in as buttons. That's a bit silly. That's what I think. Oh no, it's buttons on your clothing. That's what it is. Okay. It's not for crafting like building stuff. It's buttons on your clothing. Cause look, those are like little wooden notches that would go through like a piece of leather or something to have like a closure on your clothing. That's what that is. You could stitch it on through those two holes there. You have wool felt. Wool fiber is still there. Wrought iron. How do you pronounce that? Lambs? I don't know how you pronounce that. You have a bunch of other pieces in here for crafting, and then you have yellow onions. Look the same. Tiny vials and vials. So some new icons, some new materials, couple new things in there. Let me know if you guys notice anything that I'm missing, but you can see that you have recipes and then ingredients on the left-hand side. That's what they're broken up into now. So that's resources 1. I'm going to pull up resources 2. Let's look through this. Heavy top grain leather, honey, hops, horn buttons. Okay, you may like buttons out of horns. Horn needles. There we go. So the horns are going to be used for more things now. That's pretty awesome, actually. Inferior leather, impure iron ore. Again, all the icons are changing on a lot of these things. Makes it confusing. Hunters, drinking horn, iron studs, leather pads. There you go, leather pads, leather straps. That looks like a belt, actually. It doesn't look like a strap. Leather string, lemongrass, lime. Is lime new? I think lime's new. You're probably gonna have a process to actually lime your leathers and stuff now, not just throwing them on the rack. That's pretty cool. nubuck leather, malt, leather handles. What would leather handles go on besides bags? What would leather handles make sense to go on, guys, other than bags? I can't really think of much, to be honest. Athena says, will the goats have horns? Maybe. That's actually a good question. Lime is new. Black Wolf says saddles, winky face. You think that has to do with saddles, maybe? I don't see them bringing saddles in until we're going to have horse, unless they're waiting to surprise people with horse. Could be, who knows? Maybe we get closer and they announce, hey, here's horse. That'd be pretty interesting. I know a bunch of people would be happy about that. Pickle says, no, more needles. Loop says, I like how they're actually working on the game and how it's moving along quickly. I don't know if I'd say quickly. I mean, you got into it recent here, Loop. We've been here for almost a year now. We're like 11 months in, and now they're gutting systems from the ground up. So I don't know if it's, you'd be hard pressed to have other people say that it's moving quickly, but I know where you're coming from. You just got into it and you're excited to see the updates and stuff, 100%. Chris says shields, maybe. That might make sense, Chris. That's a good point there. Yeah, maybe they're associated with shields. All right, guys, now is the time. I'm going to actually give away the key. So if you guys want to get VRising, I'm going to be giving away the key right now. I'm going to pop it into chat. Make sure you have chat hold up, have your Steam ready to go. It's first come, first serve. If you do redeem it, please let me know. And congrats and good luck to whoever gets it. And boom, there you go. There's the key. Go ahead, redeem that on Steam. Free copy of VRising, a very awesome little, it's not even very little. I don't even know why I said that. It's a really, really fun game. One of my favorite games, honestly. You can hop in with your friends. I have a server with 128 slots right now, currently being hosted. The CBU server, it's open to the public. Anyone can get in there. We have some minor rules and stuff, but it's a ton of fun to play. You go through various bosses, you suck their blood, you get powers from it. Very rich item system with a ton of item customizations, tons of spell combinations, tons of weapon combinations. A really, really fun game, guys. If you want to have a free copy of VRising, go ahead, redeem that now. Let me know who got it. I guess someone already did because Black Wolf says, damn, someone was quick. Let me know who got it in chat. If you redeemed it, congratulations to you. We're going to have more giveaways like that in the future. We're also going to do our whole subscribe and leave a comment. And I have a program that pulls a random subscriber's comment and stuff like that. We'll do more giveaways like that in the future. But for this, I wanted to just do a nice little thank you to the community and do a live giveaway with you guys. So congrats to whoever won. Oh, you got it, Black Wolf. Congrats, man. Congratulations. So it did redeem and it worked for you. Very, very good. I'm happy to hear that, man. Congrats. Hey, man, it's a very fun game. I really hope you like it and you enjoy it. It's tons of fun with different clan sizes. They just added a bunch of new features to the game as well. They just did a big update. They added a whole expansion. Salty with 5 gifted memberships. Queen, Burger, Grimmel, Corrupted Hydra, Just Calamity. You guys were just gifted 1 month of membership to the Inner Sleuths YouTube channel here by Salty. Salty, thank you so much for the support, man. I really do appreciate that. Guys, if you want to keep your subscription and carry it over, your star will upgrade and you'll keep your perks over on the CBU Discord and all of that good stuff if you become a full-fledged member after this month. And then you'll also get to go in the credits. So consider becoming a full-fledged channel member. But you guys have been gifted 1 month of membership. You have all the perks accredited to members for the month. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. But good. I'm glad that key worked for you there. Hell yeah. Great to hear that it went out and that hopefully you will enjoy that. So there we have it. There's some more ingredients. Let's get that off the screen and let's scroll down here and see what else we got. But we're going to do some more giveaways like that in the future too. I want to start doing that live. I like to give things away live. It's more satisfying than doing the slow ones, but the slow ones do help with growth. So hopefully everyone's already subscribed who's in here. They go on to talk about new items are replacing old gear. Almost all existing crafted gear, including weapons, will be phased out and replaced with newly designed items that better match the revamped progression and balance systems. That's huge. That is a huge, huge statement right there. Absolutely massive statement. That means that almost every single piece of gear that you once knew is now going to be gone and replaced with a counterpart into the new system. Again, this is truly a complete gutting from the ground up, and we're going to get to see some of those coming up really soon here. Fadril, thank you for the 4th out of 10 super chat towards our super chat goal. Fadril says PaxCast is the #1 content Pax content. Thanks, Void. Thank you, Fadril. I really appreciate you, and thanks for the kind words. I'm really glad that you think so. I do my best here, I like to keep it neutral. I'll criticize things that need to be criticized, praise things that deserve praise, and everything in between, all in good faith. And I really like to give you guys a voice. So I'm really happy that you enjoy the podcast, Fadril. We have a bunch of other content on the channel too. We got our whole playlist dedicated to music and stuff coming out now as well. Ton of different things going on. But this statement is huge. That's really, really big. This lets you know that they're not messing around when they talk about gutting the whole system. If you've been hoarding mats for the perfect build, keep an eye on the new crafting tables. What's visible and valuable is about to change significantly. Or viable, sorry. What is viable and valuable is about to change significantly. They're going to be changing all the different ingredients and how rare they are and stuff like that, which really makes me question, why didn't they just wipe everything? A full wipe would have done good, I think, with how much they're changing stuff, because you're not going to lose your crafting levels. You're not going to have to regrind those crafting levels to see if there's any, deadlocks or pitfalls or anything like that. So it's kind of interesting that they didn't just do a full wipe. But I know a lot of people are happy that they didn't do a full wipe. Loop says, now we're talking. All right, before we get into these images here, crafting is one of the core pillars of PAX Day, and this update is long overdue leap forward. I would 100% agree. Do you guys think that this is long overdue? I mean, we're 11 months in now. We're pushing 1 year in early access. Are you guys in agreement with that? That this is long overdue? It makes the system more intuitive, rewarding, and integrated with the rest of the game. Progressing in a profession should be more rewarding. The higher the craft, the better the value. However, higher crafts will require more materials, so more time wandering the world, which again is a good thing. I think the more you're wandering the world, the better. The more you're out there, not just staring, like I said before, not just staring at crafting tables, the better. Or quite some gold to buy those at the market stall. So it's going to cost you more. It's going to cost you more at the market stalls for these things as they become rarer. Let's pull up. We got a lot of images here. Let's pull up this sneak peek into, I think this is the one. Yep. So they're actually out of order here, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to go through all 3 of these. Let me pull it up myself. This is the Pilgrims set. Let's catch up on some chat here. Steven says, cough, dismantling bench. I don't think you even need a whole bench to dismantle. I think you should be able to dismantle things at the bench that they were crafted at. You should be able to go back to the bench and take it apart. And maybe your skill in that profession is how much or the quality of materials that it yields when it gives it back to you. So maybe if you're not very skilled in leatherworking and you take apart something that's high tier leather, you're not going to get all the good leather back. Maybe you'll get moderate leather back because it got a little damaged in the process. Or if you're really good at leatherworking, maybe you can salvage all the materials from certain things when you salvage them. There's so many ways they could go about doing it, but I think we definitely need to see salvaging in the game. It's going to be interesting to see how all of these pan out once we get our hands on it. And they haven't announced it yet, guys, so we don't know when all of this is coming just yet, but hopefully soon they're going to let us know. They'll give us that 1 week announcement, and then we'll know 1 week from now, we're going to be getting verse 3. Loop says, question, did they have updates like this every week or is this new? They used to do like every Friday, they would talk about something, but never to this extent really. I mean, this is big. These are big announcements for big patches. We haven't really had too many big patches in the past. We had some big good announcements for things like the markets coming and little things like that. But these are, I would say there's definitely more of them, and they're definitely higher quality because there's actual content coming in the game. We haven't gotten a whole lot in terms of content. Black Wolf says they usually have content teasers or lore each week. Yeah, they do sometimes sub in some lore, but the content teasers, normally they're not this big though. I mean, these have been huge ones. These content sneak peeks have been huge. These have been much bigger than the ones in the past, in my opinion. If you go look at some of my early PaxCast episodes, Loop, you'll see what some of their old posts looked like. Because, I mean, you can go back to season 1 back during early access. You can go to season 2 and look. You could look at all the different announcements they've done over all my seasons and episodes of PaxCast, and you can really see how they've changed over the months. Steven says, I'm8, been playing a lot of Conan lately. Yeah, I really like Conan. Conan's awesome. Conan's a great game. Maven says they did a gap for several weeks here and there, but more recently they've been pushing more content. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there's been a lot more of these. Chris says, I'm not fond of the skill requirement to even put gear on. I think there's better ways to do that. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things with developing a game. I mean, not everyone's always going to be happy with everyone. Doesn't have the same outlook on what they want from a game. So not everyone's going to be happy with changes like that. I kind of like it because it really shows that you're serious about that profession, and you can't just take someone who's new to the game anymore and just drop them in the best of the best of the best gear for that role, right? They need to go into whatever the lowest common denominator would be for their skill level in it, and then they need to wear that and earn their way up. I think it is kind of a good progression, but that's just my opinion. I can respect your opinion that you think that there's better ways. If you have a better way that you think that they should know about, let me know in chat, Chris, because I want to hear about it as well. I love opposing viewpoints on different things like this. But I think that this system is going to make it to where you can't just have alts who are, going into PvP with the best gear and having relatively good performance out there, because they're not going to be able to wear those things. They're going to have to actually invest their time into their alts. I think it's actually going to be a good thing for a multitude of reasons. But again, that's my opinion. But here on stream now, we have the Pilgrim set. This is Pilgrim's Helmet 3, Leg Guards 3, Breastplate 3, and the Sabatons 3. So it's all of the tier 3 stuff, and you can see the different spells that are associated with these. You have Breath of Spirit, Balance, Joy, and Life. So the Joy one's going to be for running, Spirit's probably going to give you Spirit regen, Breath of Life's going to be health regen. And keep in mind, these are tier 3. So the skill requirement is 20 for all the different slots. Heavy Helm, 20. Heavy Torso, 20. Same for boots and leg guards. Now this is interesting because if you level up a skill for Heavy Helmet, but you have like medium torso, they're different skills altogether per slot. I was thinking at first, maybe they were, well, we already knew about this since last patch, but I was thinking before they announced this that maybe they were going to do something along the lines of like heavy, light, and medium armor as a whole, but they're actually going down to each individual slot, what I think is, it's a little more depth to it. I think it's okay. Kevin says, I'm excited for new stuff. Absolutely. I think a lot of people are. Loop says, I'll do a PaxCast marathon. Hell yeah. That sounds awesome. I think you'll enjoy seeing the progress that the devs have made. Chris says, I do like they are expanding on the equipment sets. Yes, but they actually reduced the slots we have, so it's kind of interesting. Chris says, an example, they can put any boots on, but only applies the level of that character. Oh, I see what you're saying. So they could have like one set of boots, and then as you get better with it, it would kind of tier up itself to reduce maybe your crafting or item requirement. But that gives a lot more value to crafters then too, because then you're going to have to come back maybe with your old set, get them repaired, and then turn them into a new set. I don't know, there's different ways that they could do this. But on all of these, we went over a lot of this stuff last PaxCast, but you can see they all have item power, physical defense. These are where you're getting a lot of your health from now. Stamina regen and spirit regen as well. Block rating on the pants. That's interesting. Why do your pants have block rating? How are you blocking with your leggings? Balance is not stillness. It is trust in both feet. I like that. But they have a block rating on the leg guards. That's kind of interesting. So you can block with your legs. What do you like? Bring your knee up in front of you or something? I don't know what that means. But then on the chest piece is where a lot of the stats are. You have your damage modifier, you have your CC resistance, your CC effectiveness, healing done and healing received, and your aggro. You got aggro on your chest piece too. So your chest piece is really going to be pivotal to your role. Black Wolf says it's not that you block with your legs, it's just that you get a defense bonus. So it's giving you, but wouldn't that just be under physical defense? Wouldn't that, because like the helmet gives physical defense. That's your overall like toughness, right? The block rating is going to be applied when you block. So your leg guards are helping you increase your ability to block. So if you're using a two-handed weapon and the block rating is 24 as well, and you block with that sword, because of your pants and the weapon's block rating adding together, you'll have 48 block rating. That's kind of interesting. I wonder why they did it that way. Loop says, haha, kick block. Maven says, what about when someone is whacking you in the legs? It helps against that. But yeah, couldn't they argue that it helps against on your feet and your helmet and your chest then as well? I don't know, it just seems kind of interesting. Plastic Jesus, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream, great to see you. Plastic Jesus says, it's adding to your block rating and skill when you block. So yes, it's increasing your block rating. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I would think, but why only the legs? What would be the reasoning behind that that you guys can think of? Wouldn't your gloves or your arm guard increase to that? Your bracers? You'd think that bracers would add more to your block rating than your leg guards. And then on your shoes, you have stamina. A lot of stamina, actually. Max stamina 18. Yeah, that's where you're getting a lot of your stamina is from your shoes, which makes sense. So it looks like each piece is kind of going to specialize in what, the most of its stats that it's contributing to you are. Plastic Jesus says, I don't think it's only the legs, it's these legs. Oh, you think like in particular, the pilgrim leg guards are, but still that kind of raises the question of why those? Why are those ones special? I'm not really sure. And maybe it's a work in progress, I don't know, but I'm trying to rationalize as to what that could really mean. Steve says, another benefit of heavy armor. Yeah. Watson says, I hope to dear God that the highest tiered shields aren't the dinner plates. Oh yes, please, please, please don't make them dinner plates again. So many complaints about that. So many complaints about the dinner plate. All right, so that is the Pilgrim's common armor. The next one we have is Shepherd's uncommon. So I don't know if you notice. Let me flick between these again. These diamonds are like a gold or bronze colored. The little pips next to the equipment. Look at these ones. These are green, so this is uncommon now. This is your uncommon gear, which is going to be a higher tier, coming with maybe better spells and potentially better durability as well. They said some stuff like that. Plastic says they are showing various stats across different slots to show variety. Stephen Kane says we didn't see kite shields already. Or we did see new kite shields already. Jack says, I love my dinner plate. Well, I love the dinner plate for what it does, but I don't like how it looks. It looks so goofy. Steven says, druid stuff. That's kind of what it's looking like, right? So what do we have on this? We have the Shepherd's Hairband of Quiet Gaze 3, Vanguard's Breeches of Holy Strike, Shepherd's Smock of Blooming Fold, Radiant Mend on there, or Verdant Mend on there. That's pretty interesting. And the Shepherd's Steps of Rushing Wind, Spirit Stride. I cannot wait to try out each and every single one of these. It's going to give us so much. So many streams are about to come up once this patch drops. But let's compare here. Yeah, so these leg guards do not have a block modifier. So only those other leg guards give you a block modifier. And you can see how the armor looks there. Again, the chest piece has the shoulders integrated into it now and the undergarment as well. Zeravex, how's it going? He says, hi man, good to see you still at it. How is the game nowadays? Pretty much the same, but we're talking about what's coming because there's a big patch. Verse 3 is coming out, complete crafting overhaul, gutted from the ground up, complete weapon combat system overhaul, tons of new spells. There's quite a bit, That's going to be coming out with verse 3. Definitely keep your eyes peeled for verse 3 and more PaxCast coming up. I'm going to keep you up to date on that. Black Wolf says, I'm hoping that shields are smaller as they get higher in tier. You hope the shields get smaller? Hopefully they don't get down to dinner plate size, though, because that was ridiculous. You have this tiny little saucer on your arm, and it's blocking more than the massive wooden ones. It was too funny. So what do we got on these? Pacify, Sacrament of Strife. I don't know what that means. It's got like a heart plus. Oh, maybe as you deal damage, you're going to leech. Maybe that's leech because it has a sword with a cross. Verdant Mend. Not sure what that's going to be. Maybe it's a 2-person mend or something. But I'm really happy they're starting to get into druid stuff because we have a lot of deities in our lore and roleplay. If you check our wiki, wiki.cheekybugger.net, or type !wiki in chat, you'll get a link over there. We have a tons of deities that have to do with druidic nature. It's gonna be really cool to allow people. This is something we've wanted for a while, months and months and months. All the way back to like week 1, we've been like wanting druidic stuff in the game. So it's really cool to see that they're starting to bring in druidic stuff into the official lore here. Zervek says, nice, time to reinstall then. Been in Dune for a while. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I would definitely get ready for it. We don't know when it's going to come out just yet, Zervex. They're going to give us a 1-week warning. Oh, Black Wolf says was being sarcastic. It's hard to tell over chats. I don't know if you were serious or not. Yeah, I mean, I would hope that they wouldn't get like tiny down to a buckler as they get higher tier. Zervex, they're going to give us a 1-week warning when we get closer to it. Salty, thank you for our 5th out of 10 super chat towards our super chat goal. Really appreciate you. He says, I want a tower shield with a metal work little sweet killer face on it that breathes fire. That would be sick. That would be freaking awesome. Havoc says, at Black Wolf, nah, give me a tower shield. He was joking. Yeah, he was just kidding. He was being sarcastic, Havoc. Maven with the green hearts, showing solidarity with the druids. Fadril says, buckler shields were meant for spearmen. Well, yeah, right. They had a different purpose, right? Maybe if their like shield bash or something came back faster to be more tactical, it would make sense. Other two-handed weapons, which was just on the off forearm. Yeah, to use it as like a little extra block. And for single combat, I'd like to see heaters, teardrops, kites, and round shields. That'd be awesome, yes. But the bucklers, they do have a place. Like maybe someone wearing leather armor could wear a buckler and it would be like, they could still dual wield or, have their weapon and stuff, but the buckler would allow for them to execute more stuns more often, but they offer less block protection, so it's more tactical or something like that. And there's Ange laughing at that shield comment, the one that's going to breathe fire. But tons of really cool stuff on these. Let's look over and make sure we're not missing anything else here. Healing Done shows 27 on this chess piece compared to the other chess piece from the Pilgrim's Common showed healing done at 7. Healing received on the metal stuff was 10 compared to the healing received here. It doesn't actually even show it. Doesn't show healing received besides on the leggings, healing received 2. So wearing leather is going to make you receive less healing, but you increase your healing output. Very interesting take on that, to be honest. It's going to be really cool to see how these all come together. Plastic says, ever seen Hema, Rapier, Buckler fighting? I can't say I have. Fadril says, I've done 20 years of Hema style, yes. Yeah, Fadril's an actual knight in real life, guys. He's literally knighted from, what's it from, Fadril? You were knighted with some crazy knight order, like legit knighted. You did like all kinds of crazy fights and stuff. So Fadril knows all about the historical accuracies of these things. He's a great asset to have there. So there we have a little bit of a description from the different abilities that are going to be found on these, as well as the healing done, healing received, and block modifiers and stuff. They're really starting to lean into more of this. Look at the energy on that chess piece too, is 76 compared to, what was it, 49 on the plate one, and now it's 76 energy. So you're going to have a lot more energy and you're going to do a lot more healing, but you're going to receive less of it. All right, on to our last image here of the stream. We're getting down to the end, guys. We are nearing Finality. This is, let me see, pull up our image here. Hunter Rare. So you can notice it's got blue little pips. Now we have blue pips for the rare armor. And I know that a lot of you in chat are going to absolutely love this. Let me know what you guys think in chat so far. Sound off about the 3 different tiers that we've seen. Let me know if you're going to be really into the whole you are what you wear and not just everybody wearing plate anymore. I know I'm super excited about that. Healing received on this is much lower. Healing done is much lower. This is going to be your damage dealing. Damage modifier 20, item power 575. So damage modifier is 20. Damage modifier on the plate stuff is 8. So yeah, you can really see the difference on this. You're getting a lot of damage from this leather. You don't have a lot of healing received, so you don't want to be taking a bunch of damage. You're going to be harder to heal. The leather, that other set we saw is going to be for, maybe that was a cloth set. That other set we saw is going to be for doing the healing. This leather is going to be for doing the damage. You have the Hidden Fang, Marked Prey, Binding Roots, which is going to do Netfall. What is that going to be? Shadow Charge, Kill Mark, Breath of Joy 2. So you're going to have extra movement. This is going to be freaking awesome. I am so stoked for this. What do you guys think about this leather set? Watson says, I love the appearance. Yeah, it looks great. And says, I'm going to need that ASAP. Abso-freaking-lutely. Templar says, that's going to look so good with the tabard and cloak. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This has got me super excited now. Plastic says, I'm going to make bows. Are they going to make bows not like throwing a rock at people? They did say that archery and potentially even crossbows and stuff are going to get love at some point, but not right now. Bows are going to just be how they are right now, have a little bit of utility, do some barrages, pull things, whatnot. They're not going to get any love just yet from what we've seen and what they've said. Hopefully, within further iteration, bows, crossbows, long bows, short bows, hand crossbows, all of it. Yes, 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 yes. We want all of that stuff, right? What other weapon combinations are you guys most intrigued about or interested in getting added into the game? I'd want to see dual wielding. I want to see daggers, short blades with backstab abilities, backstab modifiers, all kinds of stuff like that to give people really a reason to need to hold threat a little better. You know, maybe make certain abilities pull more threat, not just attacking it onto your, well, we're going to have taunt, but like backstab, that should draw a lot of threat from someone. So you can't have all of your rogues just backstab all at once. You got to be taking into consideration the positioning. If you need to do more damage from behind, the tank's going to have to pull them into a certain spot. This is going to redefine the way dungeons are done with all of these new abilities and stuff. But let me know what combos we have Warhammers already. You mean Warhammers like the one-handed pointy bit, blunt bit? We have those right now, actually. And I like them for PvP because they have the snare on them. Makes it so people can't run away. Plastic says, most video games have terrible archery mechanics. At any range, you're usually playing in a video game with arrows are almost no drop and effectively instant impact. Hopefully they can do something special in PAX Day with archery. Maven says, I really love the look of that set and green. Yeah, this looks really awesome. Hopefully we get some dyes, be able to make this whatever color you want while still filling that role and you're not, just locked into the green, but this looks awesome. Black Wolf says, unless the quality equals better stats. Oh, his first message. Black Wolf says, interesting how heavy boots give the least amount of max health. Yeah, the quality does improve the stats they were talking about. So as the quality gets better, it's going to increase its stats and output and stuff like that, as well as, that's something to consider as well. Yeah, we saw that the first tier, the second tier, and the third tier, but spread over plate, cloth, and leather. It's not like a complete apples to apples here. We're looking at it more like apples to oranges because we saw a different tier of the things that we just compared. So keep that in mind as well. The higher tier of the plate may have more damage output that's more, closely in line with the leather. I don't know, because we don't have that to compare it to. We only have the tier 1. We only have the common, uncommon, and rare of plate, cloth, and leather, respectively. Queen says, nice, just gotta level my weaponsmithing then. Yeah, the Warhammers look really cool too. For Joel says, I'd like the Medieval Dynasty archery in PaX. I don't actually know what that's like, or at least some of its concepts. Hunting feels very satisfying in that game. Tom, how's it going? Welcome in. Tommy says, hello, Blood Brothers. Great to see you, Tom. We are nearing the end here, Tom, of this episode of PaxCast, Season 2, Episode 23. We went over the crafting overhaul. We went over the clarifications on the RPG system. We have a ton of stuff that we just went over, and it's a lot of really, really cool stuff that I'm looking forward to. Let me know which armor sets you guys are most intrigued about. As we wrap this up, I want to get some more comments from you guys about these different sets of armor. Which set are you most intrigued about? Are you interested in taking up a different crafting profession after you've seen how they actually work now? You know, because there was probably a lot more armor smiths than there were leather workers, simply because, you know, plate, everyone was wearing just the heaviest plate they possibly could. Now, there's a much higher reason to want to get into leatherworking. Let me know how this is going to change your guys' outlook on the game and your professions and things like that, and what you're going to be going into. Steven says, thought they said the lighter the armor will be the best heal and DPS output. Well, I don't think cloth, yeah, they did say that, but I don't think cloth, according to this, is going to have the most damage output. I think the leather is, from what these stats shown. But again, this is over uncommon, common, and rare. Maven, thank you for the 6 out of 10 super chat towards our super chat goal. Maven says, looking forward to V3 with everyone. Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it now. I think there's some really, really cool things to look forward to. At first I was like, you know, hey, they have to deliver on it, right? But at first I was like, hopefully we get some cool stuff. Now we're getting to see a lot more of that cool stuff. So hopefully they can deliver on this, bring us a nice quality product that can keep people intrigued for longer than a month, because the numbers have absolutely fallen off a cliff, and it's been really sad to see. Did they say anything here at the end? They say, whether you're just picking it up, your first tool, or running a full workshop, we can't wait to see what you build next, the mainframe team. So that's how they close it out there. And with that, guys, we have gone over all of the crafting changes that we now know about coming up with verse 3. We still don't have a release date, but now we have more of an insight as to what they've been working on over the past 6 months. Currently, Havoc, we're based in Carries, but we're probably going to be going to Mary after this next wipe. I'm looking at down because Mary and Carries are actually switching positions on the map. So Carries is going to the top right, putting Tremin in no man's land by no gates, and Mary is coming to the bottom left where Carries was. And now Bronnier looked pretty good. It was in the top left of Carries, but I think I'm fairly certain, but I cannot say with certainty until I do the Sanguine Council meeting with everyone, but I'm fairly certain that Blood Brothers are going to be going to Mary down, which is in the top right of Mary, which would put us right by all the gates again. It's going to have 4 home valleys with 2,800 plots worth of land for people to fill in. We're going to be taking the Fellowship of the Free Cities there. We're going to build Bloodhaven there. We're going to have a big city for everyone to come and partake in and have a bunch of fun. It's going to be a really great time. That's our thoughts on it. And in, I think it was like 2 or 3 episodes of PaxCast ago, we went over all the changes that are coming to the maps, and we kind of gave our ideas on where we were going and stuff, but we will do more announcements as we get closer. But I'm fairly certain we're going to be going to Mary and either down or one of the other surrounding locations. I want to have instant access to the Wildlands because that's where a lot of the good resources are. And being near the gates is a plus, but it's not a deal breaker anymore because we have the fast travel. Havoc says it would be nice to have some of these items to mix and match. Would love to see that hood with the plate armor, for example. Yeah, I mean, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to mix and match. You don't have to wear the full set. I would like to see set bonuses to incentivize people to get like a small bonus for wearing a complete set of something. That'd be kind of cool. But they kind of want people to mix and match these. So you'll be able to pick, hey, I want these boots, that helm, this chest guard, this weapon combo, you'll be able to do that for sure. Black Wolf says, what would make V3 even better is a full wipe. I agree, but I know a lot of people don't agree. So I'm indifferent about it. I'm along for the ride. I'm here to do the testing and to bring the news to people first and foremost. So I'm okay with whatever, you know, but I agree that a full wipe would have been really good for it. Had to reopen that can of worms. Yeah, some people are looking for it. Some people aren't. Havoc agreed with you, Black Wolf. We're going to be going to Mary, I believe. Again, it's not for certain. If you really want to know for sure, make sure you join the Cheeky Buggers United Community Discord server. I make announcements over there all the time. You can type !Discord in chat right now, and it's open to everybody. You can get a link over there. And then in our public channel on there for PAX Day, I do little announcements and stuff about things like that. We have different chats and stuff. So if you guys want to chat with us over there and find out where we're going to be going or learn more about the Fellowship of the Free Cities, our RP collective initiative, make sure you guys pop up over there. Uh-oh. What is Ange doing? She says, so, ... Uh-oh. I have a feeling I know what's about to happen. Badrill says, I am 200% on board with this. V3 will be incredible and very exciting to make PAX my main game once again. Hopefully, that's the goal with it, right? And on another super chat says, close. Uh-oh. I see what's happening here, guys. Did you guys catch on to this? 2. Pickle with chicken butt. Pickle popped in chicken butt. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much. You really didn't have to do that. Those goals are just a little fun thing. Goal! Now we're over the goal. Salty's popping in too. He says wrestling. You guys didn't have to do that. I really appreciate you. Thank you for helping us reach our goal. Really does help the channel out. And guys, if anybody wants to become a channel member, you don't have to, but if you want to support my work, click that join button down below. Thank you guys for all the super chats. Thank you for all the Tangias. Thank you for all the memberships and the gifted memberships. Really do appreciate you guys. I would not be able to do this without you because remember, this is my full-time job. I do YouTube full-time, bringing you guys the news and happenings in and around PAX Day, as well as Star Citizen and all of our other playlists and podcasts that we do. And I run a community. That's what I do. I run the website. I host the servers for it. I manage all of that. And it can be a bit much at times, but it's all worth it seeing everyone come together and hang out in the voice chats and have a good time. It's one of my favorite things to see people in the CBU voice chat playing any game and then just have random people join in and make friends and meet new people and have fun adventures going and playing all different kinds of games. So guys, come and join the official CBU Discord. Again, it's !Discord in chat. You'll get a link over there. We have a bunch of fun stuff always going on. We're doing a lot of Star Citizen. It's kicking off a bunch and it's been, gosh, it's been so much fun in Star Citizen. They're really getting it dialed in. We're going to be doing a bunch of PAX Day coming up. You guys know it. Maybe we really tried to do another 30 days of PAX Day with the last big patch, but it just wasn't enough to make substantial enough content for such a long time, as consistent as it was. I really tried. Hopefully V3, it's looking like it's going to have plenty for us to do 30 days of PAX Day. If you guys are excited for another 30 days of PAX Day, Verse 3, what do they call it? Path of the Adventurer. Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button. Show some support for a 30 days of PAX Day if you guys want to see that coming out. But I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for looking over all of the crafting changes that we know about so far with me here on the channel. Again, if you guys would like to join the Order of the Blood Brothers, if you want to take your blood oath and stand with your brothers and sisters against all forms of tyranny, and you want to stand with the free and innocent people to protect them with the Bastion Concord and all the things that we host, make sure you head over to our website. That is www.cheekybugger.net, or type !website in chat. And you can take your blood oath and join us. We have a vetting process. We vet everyone who joins and stuff like that. But I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Friday. I'm going to be hanging out over on chat after I get some food. I got to get some food in my belly. And then I got to go check on that engine I just rebuilt in the garage from the ground up as well. And then I'm going to be hanging out with you guys over on Discord. But thank you all for all the support. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Make sure you share this with your friends, family, or anyone who you think, any other communities, as long as you follow their promotion rules. I don't go posting my stuff somewhere and then find out it was against their terms of service or something.
Hi everyone, I remember you all in therapy.
Ange, thank you for the Tangia. Appreciate you. But yeah, share my stuff around so that way we can get more people in here. We can have some more good faith conversations. As always, these were my thoughts and opinions on all of these things and the thoughts and opinions of everyone in chat given in good faith. So I really, truly appreciate you guys. But that's going to do it for me for this episode of PaxCast Season 2, Episode 23. Uh-oh. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you. Thank you for the Tangia. Templar, thank you for the Tangia. Blippi says, I have turkey chili in the crock pot. Oh man, you're making me starved. Is today a brisket day, guys? I'm gonna go play a song here on my outro, but if it's a brisket day, smash the brisket in chat for all my channel members. But until I see you guys next time, bye for now.
Took our oaths for all to see. Upon the blood dagger, we gave freely. You broke the bone, now we don't grieve. On the blood list you shall be. You were a brother, promised and sworn. Now you're a curse that must be cleansed. You turned your back, broke your oath. Pray Veil Scavard forgives you in the next realm. On the blood list you are named, hunted by bloodhounds you shall be. In shadows dark and deep, no shelter left, no friends, no sleep. Your days are forfeit. Oathbreaker, you chose to be. Your words were lies. Now hear the howling battle cry. Your end is here as the bloodhounds draw near. The crimson promise you dare to sever has sealed your fate in the worst of ways. The debts in blood you must repay. Now you carry the curse in your dark.